start critically thinking. Start thinking about what the issues are, and don't jump on a bandwagon either way. Of course, unless you're a troll or you're being paid to do it, then just keep on doing the same thing you're doing. You've already compromised your integrity, and that's fine. I'm not talking to the trolls here. Obviously, I'm not talking to the trolls. I'm talking about the people that truly want to understand what's going on, people that may not have the same thought process, but that are now starting to question. And that's exactly what we need to be doing. We need to be questioning. The question is why? Why is stuff being censored? Why is information being prevented from being disseminated? Why am I getting this song and dance about X, Y, and Z, whereas in my own frame of reference, in my own experience, I'm not seeing this? And we realize that if this thing is so damaging and so detrimental, so virulent and so resistant, and they really need to stop everything and put up the ridiculous restrictions that they're putting up, then why is it that certain sectors, i.e. houses of worship, where people congregate, they're not able to do so, but other places like a Walmart or Costco, it's fine? Why is it that gyms that where you work out and get your body better and stay healthy, why is it that they're being not considered essential, but liquor stores are? Okay? Ask yourself these questions. Things that better an individual, a person that wants to connect with their spiritual leaders, they can't meet in congregation, but hey, you can go shopping. You can't go to a business meeting with more than 10 people in there, but you can go to Costco where there's a few hundred people in there at any given time, and no problem. So all these ridiculous parameters, they have face masks. The only thing that you're doing when you're wearing a face mask is you're reducing your own oxygen saturation. And anybody who still argues with that, because there are doctors that are arguing with it, besides just being idiots and being liars, you've already compromised your integrity. How do you sleep at night? Okay, it just takes you don't have to be a doctor. It takes an average person, put on a freaking mask and put on an oximeter, pulse oximeter, and you'll see your own oxygen levels drop. Especially if you have some type of a restrictive airway issue going on. You'll see it drop within a minute or two. So what I've found, that there are a lot of sheeple, but I've also found that there are a lot of people that are in positions of authority that have completely either never had any integrity or have lost their integrity. I just find it interesting when people say, what am I supposed to do, Dr. Buttar? Now, we've talked about this before, and I don't want to belabor the point and bring it up, excuse me, over and over again. But, when you ask the question, what am I supposed to do? You're already putting yourself in a state of victim mentality, because you're acting helpless. You're saying, what am I supposed to do? And the question isn't what you're supposed to do. The question is, what state of mind are you in? What is your energy? And as soon as you say, what am I supposed to do? It implies a helplessness. It implies a victim mentality. And rather, you should be thinking of, what are the things that I can do? It's a total different mindset. Very, very subtle. Some people say, well, that's just semantics. It's actually not semantics, because to have that other mindset, you literally change your energy, your state of energy. So if you find yourself saying, well, what am I supposed to do? That's a poor me, pathetic. I'm just so simple and so without power that I just don't know what to do. Well, one thing you can do is not wear a mask. Another thing you can do is not comply. Another thing you can do is talk to people. Another thing you can do is empower yourself with knowledge. And there's a list after list after list of things that you can do. You have to adjust. You have to adjust your mindset so that you don't have that victim mentality of, what am I supposed to do? And just think about it. There's so many things you could do. There's so many. You could talk to your neighbor. You could talk to your employer. You could talk to your employees. You can do more research. You can find more resources. But rather than say, what am I supposed to do? You're just giving all your power away, okay? And during an interview recently, I think it was on Saturday, there was a gentleman that was interviewing me from Perth, Australia, and he asked me this question that a lot of people want to know what to do. And I was a little bit more animated that day, and I said, if somebody comes up and they put a gun to your head and they say, I'm going to kill you, what are you going to do? Are you going to say, let me move my head closer to the drain so that when you shoot me in the head, the blood doesn't splatter and so I can not make a mess in your carpet? Are you going to be that compliant and that accommodating? Or are you going to struggle and fight? And yes, you may be certain death, but you're still going to fight and you're going to defend yourself and do whatever you can to resist. And that's what you have to remember. This is the same type of situation. Well, I can't help it but to comply. Well, complying with something with stupidity or complying with these types of ridiculous mandates that are being put down by people that have no authority. These are governors, these are elected officials passing a mandate that you wear a face mask. Tell me what the difference between wearing a face mask and assault is. Because when you understand what the science behind wearing a face mask, what it does to your body, then you'll realize that they are assaulting you, except they're doing it even in a very highly sophisticated manner. They're making you assault yourself by them telling you to do it. So you yourself are becoming complicit with the idiocy by complying and wearing that face mask. And when you comply and wear the face mask, you are now consenting to tyranny. Again, it doesn't matter to me, guys, whether you believe me or not. It makes no difference to me. Okay, I don't lose sleep because you don't believe me. I'm here to just make the truth known to as many people, and that's my only role. Whether you believe it or not, whether you think it's a truth or not, it's irrelevant. You can call the truth whatever you want to call it. It doesn't change the fact that it's still the truth. But I'm going to challenge you to ask the question, why? Why is this being censored? Why is it that I have to wear a mask into the restaurant, but then I can take it off when I'm sitting at the table? Why is it that the virus is an issue for me to get on the plane, but then when I'm there, I can take it off or I can lift it up and drink water? Why is it that I have to maintain social distancing 6 feet apart when I'm boarding the plane, but then I'm sitting right next to the person, like not even 6 inches away? I mean, does that make any sense? So how long are you going to allow idiocy to continue? And when somebody tells you to wear a face mask, you need to tell them to back the hell up. If you're stupid enough to wear a face mask, then you wear a face mask. But I am not going to partake in your idiocy. Just because you're stupid, that doesn't make it an obligation on my part to follow in your stupidity and hurt myself. If you want to see what the references are, go to askdrbuttar.com/face mask. I just want you to remember that if they ask you to wear a face mask, and all you have to say is, assuming this is true, that you have an exemption, you have a medical exemption. And if they ask you what that medical exemption is, they have just violated your HIPAA rights and your American Disabilities Act rights, because nobody can ask you what your medical condition is. They cannot, by statute, by law, ask you that. That is against the law. All right, at least in the United States. Now, outside the United States, it's a little bit different. I don't know how the laws work, but I would suggest that you get a letter from your doctor or healthcare provider, or at least be armed with this information so that nobody can make you wear a face mask. Because remember this, if you wear a face mask, you are restricting your oxygen, you are increasing the amount of carbon dioxide that you're breathing back. The face masks themselves, they've already done studies on the face mask, and you're breathing in the same stuff in and out, so there's actually an increased amount of bacteria that accumulates from what you're breathing. The condensation from your breath is breaking down the polypropylene components of the face mask, and then you're breathing in those toxic components and creating a histotoxic hypoxic injury. You're obviously becoming hypoxic from just breathing in the not being able to get in fresh oxygen, but then you're also increasing your cortisol levels, and that drives you into the flight-fight response, which is a sympathetic overdrive, and then that suppresses your immune system. And these are all common things. These are all easily proven, published things. You don't have to be a rocket science to understand this. I've even had people try to challenge me, and they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, seriously? It's like saying, well, if I walk out in the rain without an umbrella, you're going to get wet. How do you know that? How can you prove that you get wet? Well, okay, if you don't know that water on top of you is going to make you wet, then that's, everybody knows that steroids and cortisol suppress the immune system. It's a fundamental aspect of life. It's a fundamental aspect of physiology. It's just like, how do you know that you need more oxygen? Well, because without oxygen, we die. Okay, so put anything that restricts your oxygen flow is going to cause a problem. And again, all the things that I'm talking about, like the polypropylene components of the mask and all these different things that I'm giving you to empower you with information so you know what's really happening. That's all assuming that it was actually a benefit conferred by the mask. It's not. The pores are so big compared to the particles that they're trying to keep out. As I've said before, it's like building a chain link fence and trying to keep dust particles out. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It just simply doesn't work. And then the people are trying to say, well, for the particulate matter and from breathing aspect, guys, you're increasing your own susceptibility when you wear a mask to every pathogen that's out there, virus, bacteria, spirochetes, mycoplasma, yeast, fungi, parasites, whatever. You are increasing your own susceptibility when you wear a mask. You're stressing your body out. You're making your body weaker. You're making yourself hypoxic. You are more susceptible, more vulnerable to any pathogen, okay? And any person who challenges that, they've already compromised their integrity. This is like telling you that the sky is not blue, okay? I'm telling you the sky is blue. No matter what you want to call it, it's blue. And anybody who says the sky is not blue and they want to challenge my credentials or they want to challenge my information or my resources or whatever they want to challenge, they can label it whatever they want. Guess what? It doesn't change the fact the sky is still blue, okay? You can make yourself to be any type of authority that you are authority on the sky and it's not blue and don't believe anything that anybody's saying, but the sky is still blue. I appreciate your efforts in helping to make the change the world's waiting for. And the more of us that become aware and understand and share this information, the stronger our voice becomes. Remember, there's only a few thousand out there that are trying to control this narrative. The good news, guys, is that more and more people are recognizing the idiocy of what's going on.